Good morning. Um, I just woke up not too long ago and decided that I wanted to come out and go for a walk. And then I thought, oh, I could film my next video out here. It's pretty today. The sun is rising, the birds are chirping, the lake is pretty calm, and the vibes are the vibes are just right. We'll try something new. If you're new here, welcome. Even though it's only 32 of you, maybe 5 of you watch. On my call, I try to talk about this because I'm quite fat. Look at how fat I've gotten. I am 1,000,001% qualified to talk about the topic that I am today. If you clicked on the video, you're more than likely interested in what I have to say about being a fat person and the things that we should stop telling fat people over and over again, because it's quite detrimental and it's helping absolutely nobody. It's not helping anybody, really. If anything, people just keep getting fatter and everything keeps getting worse. So I'm actually inspired by this video because I'm not going to say I was like a yo-yo dieter. I've been on every diet there is to know, but obviously weight gain is something that I've struggled with for many years. Since I was a child, I've always thought like my body wasn't good enough. I was always going to be this round figure. I never felt skinny enough, never felt like I quite fit in, and one of those reasons was because my body never matched what I saw on TV or in the lives around me. I've always been a little round. But now that I'm older and I've lost maybe 45 pounds, maybe I'll continue to lose more. I haven't checked. I have this thing where I don't like getting on the scale because no matter what the numbers say, it could say 2 and I would be disappointed. Like, damn, dude, well, I'm not a 1.5. You know what I mean? That's why I don't hop on the scale as frequently. I don't know if that would help me or have this crazy obsession. I try not to get on the scale too often. It's not motivating to me. It's more, it feels a little, ugh. Today I would get into 5 key points because they're lies. Okay, that's good. 5 lies we need to stop telling fat people. Number 1, the health at every size. I forget her name. Is her name Abby? Whatever. I only started in a video here in a picture. She recently changed her tune on the health at every size. What's it called? Health at every size. Yes, is what it's called, I believe. Yeah, so health at every size. She went back on, what she said. She didn't really actually believe it. And now we see a whole slew of these kind of influencers or these talking heads and these nutritionists who are going back on what they said about health at every size, because they never really believed this shit in the first place. They only said it because they saw that it was getting views and that it was getting popular. And unfortunately, that is what these social media sites are. Actually heard a really good antidote for what we think the algorithm is and what's feeding the algorithm. So we know that social media has now become very algorithm focused, but what if we changed the way we thought about the algorithm? What if we said that the algorithm was us instead of thinking that the algorithm is this godlike entity? What if we changed the way we viewed how the algorithm is? What if we said, well, the algorithm is just us being reflected back to us? The algorithm is not a godlike entity sitting over these social media circles from which they've created. The algorithm is actually us. So when we watch these people and we're feeding them, we're telling them exactly what we want to hear. What we want to hear is sensationalism. What we want to hear is not necessarily the truth, but something that makes you feel good. And so what would make somebody that's doom scrolling and not being an active participant in their own lives? And in this case, we'll bring it back to eating food, right? You can eat whatever you want, have that donut, have that bag of chips, and it's okay because you're healthy in any size, when that's clearly not the case. If you feel like shit, you're always tired, you're always fatigued, you always got a headache, your back is always stiff, no matter what size you are, clearly you're not healthy at every size. We know what health looks like. We've been told what health looks like and what it feels like in our body, even if there was no one around to give us these definitions of what health is. Being healthy would having your body running at its optimal. That means it's less pain. That means you should be able to pick up and move things without too much resistance from your body. Yeah, no matter if you're 400 pounds or if you're 40 pounds, there is a state of health we should all be trying to strive for, because a healthy body is a healthy mind. And if you do not have a healthy body, you don't have a healthy mind. There's weakness there that is out of balance. It needs to be brought back into balance. So if you overweight, that means there's a part of your mind that needs to be addressed. And usually with overweight people is the need for comfort. You see it all the time. Our food is our drug, and that's our addiction. When I hear health at every size, what I also hear is people that would enable drug addicts. It's the same concept of giving drug users a safe space to use drugs instead of giving them maybe more resources to get off the drug. It's giving them a place to put the needle inside your vein instead of saying, man, you need to go get some help. I'm not enabling this. We don't treat food addiction like we treat a heroin addiction, but it's time that we start reshaping how we think about food addiction, which I'll get to that in the next point and one of my other points. Yeah. So the key point is this. If you don't do anything to move your body, to exercise your body, to eat right, to eat the best that's for you, if you do none of those things, you're not healthy. No matter if you're skinny or if you're 5,000 pounds. If you don't do anything to build health, to work the health into your body, you're not healthy. And that's the truth. We need to stop filling our head with these lies that somehow you just sitting there, it means you're perfect as you are, when it's not true. You have something to strive for, you have something to attain for, and that's okay. It's okay to strive for healthiness inside your body, because no one in their right mind would tell you, like, looking for health inside your mind. Why would you want to be mentally healthy? Okay, once you start fixing your mental health, I bet you 1,000% that your bodily health would change. They kind of go hand in hand, which leads me to my next point. Losing weight to look good is bad. I don't know when we started to not give a fuck, but clearly this whole play a cool thing, trying to look good for a man or trying to look good for a woman, is somehow a negative. Just trying in general. I see this lack of wanting to try. You see it in the workspace a lot, like, you should only show up and do the bare minimum. This is just lack of giving a fuck. It's quite detrimental on the culture, but we'll save that for another time. But when it comes to weight loss, somehow losing weight to look good is a bad thing. You should only do it for health purposes. Well, I would argue that to look good is to feel good. Even though I'm not at this like ideal body shape that I would like to be in, most of the time I'm not going outside looking like a schlep. Like, I'm not looking like I didn't try or put effort into my looks, because I don't ever want no one to perceive me like I don't give a fuck. The last time I went into Walmart kind of dressed like this with a hoodie and some sweatpants on was the day I swore to never do that again. Everybody around me treated me like how I looked. And no one treated me how I looked when I dressed in a nice dress or a nice skirt, if I had my makeup done. If I looked way more put together rather than just, I don't care, and I looked very casual, and I looked like I was about to go run 10,000 miles. Yeah, people treated me like I was a tough girl, like I could do anything on my own, like I didn't need anyone's help. I never, ever want to ever put myself in that way again, especially after once you start dressing a little bit nicer, once you start wearing skirts and dresses and you do your makeup more often. You start seeing how sweet the world can be because you showed up for yourself first. You took the time to put effort into your look. And that's the same thing with weight loss. You put effort into your looks and you start to slim down more often, you'll start to see how sweet the world can be. Once you put effort into losing that weight, you actually shed a lot of the reasons that you had a lot of fear in the first place. You overeat in the first place because you wanted a lot of comfort. Once you face the reason why you needed all that comfort in the first place, once you face the reason why you felt like you needed all of that defense or you needed all of that protection, you start to let it go. And once you start letting go the reasons why you ate so much and why you couldn't control yourself, you start to face your pain, the pain that you were trying to stuff down with food. And once all that weight starts shedding off, guess what? The world can see who you really are. Anyway, back to what I was saying about looking good. It's okay to want to look good. It's okay to want to try. It's okay to want to look at yourself in the mirror and go, damn, I'm fine as fuck. It is okay. The people in power are just trying to weaken your mind state. Because if you don't try in just your personal life, you wouldn't try anywhere else. You wouldn't have the mental energy to fight what is coming down the pipeline. If there is someone trying to infringe upon your life and try to feed you more lies, you wouldn't have any energy to fight back. So if you weaken the body, you can weaken the mind, and vice versa. You weaken the mind, you weaken the body. So looking good is kind of imperative to your overall health. Is it okay to try to look good? It's okay to say, damn, when I look in the mirror, I want to be proud of myself. If like you my size or even bigger. Because I definitely don't look at myself and think, oh my God, what a piece of shit. I just recognize like, hey, there could be some improvements here, you know? Is my goal to be skinny? Not necessarily. But if your goal is to be skinny, then go after that. If your goal is to say, man, I want to be skinny, bro. I want to be skint, hey, then you should go after it and let nobody stop you in your quest to be skinny. I implore you to keep going. See where your body can take you. See what your body can do. Don't let anybody try to convince you that looking good or losing weight for looking good purposes is a complete vanity project and somehow you're a shitty person for wanting something. That's just natural to the human mind and the human psyche. All right, numero 3. Look at the sun. Look at the sun. Anyway, number 3. I would say is that we need to stop telling fat people that somehow they're not disciplined enough and that's how they got to that weight. I would actually argue against that. I would actually say that we are so disciplined. We are so disciplined, we channeled our discipline towards something else. Because as soon as that urge hit to come eat, guess what we doing? We disciplined as fuck. We eating. We following them orders, ain't we? In order to go to work, you have to be disciplined. You have to have a certain amount of discipline to get your ass up to make sure you go to work on time. We can't keep telling people that it's a lack of discipline, that being fat is entirely your fault. At the end of the day, you accept accountability for your life. You say, damn, I got to this weight. Now it's time for me to lose it. That's it. I'm not saying deny accountability. But I'm also saying that these other factors that we don't know about, these other factors that we are completely ignorant to, the system by design was to keep you fat and lazy. I'll say it 1,000,000 times over that the food pyramid was a scam, and it still is a scam. All those carbs is just sugar in disguise. It turns into sugar. But the way the food pyramid is designed is what's making us fatter. And we can see this, that there's a correlation between when the food pyramid changed and when obesity and heart problems and our health as Americans declining. So you do have different factors that are encouraging you to keep eating and to continue with an unhealthy lifestyle. And I just want to tell anybody watching this video, let's say you happen to be overweight. You need to accept where you are and accept, damn, I'm the only person with the power to change this, because the powers that be, big pharma and big food, they're not going to change it for you. They want you in that lazy, sloppy state so you can continue to buy the poison. But I also want you to know that it's not because of a lack of discipline, that somehow you're not a good enough person, that somehow you didn't have a mental willpower that you got into this state. You had help. There's other people gently nudging you in a direction that you didn't necessarily want to go in and you didn't necessarily know how to stay away from. So keep that in mind on your journey of weight loss. Everyone should. Instead of telling overweight people that they're not disciplined, give them someone to talk to. Give them a journal to write in. Give them another outlet instead of reaching for more food, for more junk food, for more comfort food. Tell them, hey, no matter how much you want to go order the fast food, stay your ass in the house and cook your own meals. Yeah, you might not get the instant gratification now, but that feeling will pass. Don't play so much into how you feel. Instead, lead into what you know will make you much better in the future. Think about you a month from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, instead of thinking about the impulses that you have in this moment. They'll fade. As soon as you get the burger in your mouth, the homemade burger in your mouth, I should say. As soon as you get the homemade taco, as soon as you get the homemade pizza inside of you, you're going to feel better. You'll feel better. Just take the time to nourish yourself. Use the discipline that you use to hit order on DoorDash. Channel that same energy to nourish yourself. And you'll watch your life change. All right, I moved. Time to get to walking. Sorry if the wind is bothering anybody. My apologies. The next point is... What's my next point? Oh yeah, intuitive eating. We need to stop telling fat people to intuitively eat. That's number 4, right? Hell yeah. Number 4, stop telling people to intuitively eat, especially fat people. Guess what? Our fat asses don't know. Do not know when to intuitively eat. All the time we are hungry. It's always the food chatter in our brains, especially when your tummy gets a little bit rumbly. When we get hungry, it's an insatiable need to eat whatever. Yeah, we don't have the mental stability to go, you don't need to eat right now. That self-control, no. So when you tell somebody you should eat when you feel like it, guess what? We feel like it all the time. There's not a time where eating is not a good idea. There is not a good idea to eat the food, to pick up the plate, to indulge in that piece of cake that we baked. There's not enough good time for it. And a lot of us don't even know what intuition is. A lot of us think it's just a woo-woo concept that we have, that someone gave to us, that is some imaginary thing that we can afford to ignore. We haven't been trained in that area to listen to our intuition. Intuition is like a muscle, and in most of us it's atrophied. We don't know how to listen to it. So to tell someone to listen to a muscle that they haven't developed or a skill that they haven't developed is counterintuitive. It's bad and shitty advice. We need to get that out of our zeitgeist, that somehow there's a thing called intuitive eating. Now, I get what they were trying to say is that the whole concept behind intuitive eating, that you should know when your body is truly hungry, but I'd argue that we really don't know what it's like to be hungry. Not as a nation, because we always got food shoved in our face. Every time we go out, there's always a temptation that even if you get the slightest bit of hunger, that you could go and stuff your face. Like, look at your refrigerator right now and tell me that is not enough food in there to last you for 3 to 6 months. Or even the fat on your body is not enough to feed you for a long time. Sure, being hungry is an uncomfortable feeling, but we've never really had to face extreme hunger. At least most of us. Most of us never had to face extreme or facing starvation or facing malnutrition. It's not really common, especially if you live towards more developed cities. It's not really common. So a lot of times what we mistake as intuition is really just an instinct. It's the animal part of ourselves. It's the sensation of hunger. It's the sensation of lust. It's the sensation that we're trying to get rid of or abate or appease as quickly as possible. We have trouble facing pain when you have someone that don't know what intuition is, because sometimes intuition guides you towards your pain. Sometimes your intuition tell you, no, you don't need to eat for the next 6 hours because it's fucking up your life. What if your intuition told you that? What if your intuition told you not to eat for 24 hours or 48 hours because it would benefit you in the long run? Because it would set you up for an opportunity for you to make $1 million. What about that? If you were following intuition and you didn't really know what intuition was, and you thought intuition was your instinct, and you followed the instinct to eat right there, right then, would you listen? Or would you listen to your intuition, or would you go for your instinct? That's right, you go for instinct under the illusion that it is your intuition. On to the next point, which is... Okay, so my last point is that everyone should accept you at your size. Everyone did not accept you at your size. If we had to go off of skinny shaming and thinking that somehow skinny people are the bad guys and that they are the enemies just because you got it made fun of, or just because you see their bodies on TV way more than you see yours, doesn't mean anybody has to accept you at any size. Because you did not accept the skinny person at their size, guess what? They don't have to accept you at your size. You don't have to bend anyone's perception of you. It's not your job to do that. They have shame or disgust towards your body type, and that is a they problem that they have to solve. It is not up to you to convince them that they should change. It truly isn't. Because who to say that you're right? You could be right, but you could also be 1,000% wrong. You could be 1,002% wrong, and you'd never know it because you're still stuck in what somebody else told you. It was a consensus that being overweight wasn't a good thing until somebody decided to change their mind. But you gotta ask yourself, what decided somebody to make they change their mind about that? After so many years in society that being fat was like an anomaly, it wasn't a norm. Most people were relatively in shape or skinnier. Their bodies looked like they was in good health. So now that in current history, that somehow being overweight is okay. What happened to all those years? I mean, I'm not talking about like in the last decade. I'm talking about millennia of, being smaller, being the way to be. Well, my conclusion I came up to is that it's some sort of, I just say a mind control or psyop to get you to think that being fat and unhealthy is okay. And going back to it, it's not okay. But we can always change that around. You don't have to convince anybody to love you. We tell each other, people are all the time, if you don't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love anybody else? Same principles. Loving yourself first is the same principle that we teach everybody else. But when it comes down to loving ourselves first, we don't really know how it looks like. And guess what that looks like? Not trying to convince everybody else that you are lovable. The only responsibility of anyone liking you is yourself. The world is a very fickle place. What's in vogue now won't be in vogue later. And I hate to say it, but all the fat acceptance stuff will eventually be brushed in the wind because we all inevitably knew that wasn't true. And that it's time to stand back on your square and to get our bodies and our minds in order. Don't get caught up in the whole, accept me. No. That's just you still begging for mommy and daddy's attention in a different way or form. It's still you trying to get back at the little girl or little boy that called you a fat piece of shit when you were younger. I'll probably end the video here. I don't have much to say. And I gotta keep walking. And holding this damn thing is a workout because my arms are flabby and weak. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and share. Help my little channel grow. I'd really like to see that. And you had a power to help a little old me take it to the next level. So thank you. I love you. And I'll see you in the next one.